Do I have to go to Thailand to get better? No, absolutely not. But you definitely should go to Thailand. That's something I recommend. So you definitely don't have to go to Thailand to get better. But I do think if you're contemplating spending a stint anywhere in the world to improve your training, I recommend Thailand above all, purely because the cost of living is much lower than it is in the UK. The flights are probably going to be the most expensive bit of your trip, especially if you're from the UK, where I'm from. I was over in Thailand earlier this year, 2023. I had a fantastic time. I took a couple of the boys that I train over with me. It was pretty cool actually. We had a little crew of Birmingham guys. I had Fabian Edwards, I had my amateur fighter Wes Tully, and my fantastic lightweight fighter Tim Wild. We were out there training, living our best life. And then there's a couple of the lads also over there already. So we had a young amateur called Matty, who was staying at Tiger Muay Thai. One of the lads who used to train Rico, who's a professional that was signed to Cage Warriors. He was living over at Tiger Muay Thai, got himself a little sponsorship. So he's living his best life. So if you're thinking about making the switch to being a full-time fighter,
you work? Boxer. Fighter,
or you just wanted to try it out, what's it like? I recommend go to Thailand, because you're not going to run out of money in about 6 weeks and then be stuck. In the UK, if you're not working, you're going to run out of money pretty quickly, and there's not going to be many other alternatives to make that money. Whereas in Thailand, you want to be a full-time fighter, well, you absolutely can be. You're not making a killing over there. You might be paid 30, 40 quid for a Muay Thai fight, but that's better than nothing, and you can rattle off 3 or 4 fights in a few weeks and cover your food money. For example, when I was living in China as a professional kickboxer, there was plenty of guys that were Muay Thai fighters, but they'd come over to China for a fight, get paid maybe £500, £600, £700. You get paid a bit more money to fight in China than you would to fight Muay Thai in Thailand. And then they could live for another month in Thailand. Unfortunately, a lot of those boys did get chinned because K1 is a completely different sport. Me and my friend Mark also had a very good manager, so when we were living in China, we had a different set of circumstances to a lot of these boys that were coming over. We were paid a little bit better, we had accommodation sorted and stuff like that. We were pretty good fighters, I might say, without blowing my own trumpet.
Respect, West Side.
But going to Thailand was always a good option for anyone that wants to just test the water and think, you know what, can I make it as a fighter? Save up money for a few months, spend 6 months working, save up your money, maybe fight once or twice in that time frame in your home country, just stay active. Then when you get over to Thailand, if you save up a couple of grand, you're going to be able to stay in Thailand for a couple of months. And then whilst you're over there, you can make good links. If you get on well with a gym, you showcase some sort of talent. If you're actually half decent, you've got a good work ethic, you get on with the people in the gym, and within the team, you kind of gel in. And that's another thing, go over to places and be helpful, make yourself useful, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said in his recent documentary, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Make yourself useful. Don't just go there and try and take. If you make yourself useful, people will often extend that an olive branch and go, you know what, mate, I like you, you're a good training partner. There's some accommodation down the road that maybe we could share, or there's some accommodation down the road that I know for cheap, and people start hooking you up with deals and discounts. Maybe you'll get a moped at a really cheap rate compared to what you get it if you're trying to get it on your own. So making friends with locals, being useful, giving people a reason to want to help you will go a long way, and it's a great place for floaters. You do not need to go though. So if you're a Muay Thai fighter, I recommend going just purely for the experience, but I wouldn't feel like you're missing out if you don't go. If you've got a good gym with good trainers that look after you, that love you, that care about you, then believe me, knowledge-wise, you'll be in good hands. The most important thing is having people that are looking after your best interests, and if someone is looking after your best interests and they feel like you going to Thailand is going to be beneficial for you, well then they'll send you there anyway. They'd recommend that you go there, so that's all a great thing. As an experience, as a holiday destination, if you're a martial artist, I just can't recommend going to Thailand enough. It's so beautiful, especially if you go down to Phuket now. There's so many like fantastic gyms, fantastic facilities, like purpose-built gyms like Bangtao, which I went over for a day. I took my fighter Wes down there. He had some fantastic rounds. We even bumped into some people that we knew from the home circuit in the UK. Shout out Pietra Menga. Obviously Tiger Muay Thai, great facility. The training's a bit wild there. It's probably a bit overcrowded. There's probably a few too many Russians there. No offense to the Russians, but there's a lot of them and they kind of stick together and it can be a bit cliquey like that. I wouldn't say the training there is particularly write home about or jump off the page. I think a lot of the people that started off Tiger Muay Thai have now gone to Bangtao. Bangtao is the place to kind of go. But even then, there's plenty of smaller gyms to find. There's loads of little hidden gems. I checked out Southside MMA down in Phuket. Fantastic. fantastic, loved it. People were really accommodating, apart from one Polish guy that tried to punch my head off in the sparring, despite us having no mouthpieces and being told to go light. That wasn't so fun. But outside of that, you know, it's Thailand, you know what I mean? It's the land of smiles, and if you've got a good attitude, everyone vibes. For the most part, you meet loads of good people over there. My favourite gym when I was in Phuket this year was Sinbi. I could not speak high enough about it. Sinbi Muay Thai. Just go there if you're in Phuket. The trainers are all lovely, all really helpful. The vibe there was brilliant. It's a big open air. It's a big open air gym, and since I've been there, built a stadium there. So if you were looking to compete, you've got everything under one roof. You could stay there. They've got accommodation there, which I hear is pretty nice. Wasn't too expensive, wasn't ridiculous, but there's loads of cheaper accommodation, probably just as good in the area. If you get yourself a moped, you can explore all around Phuket, which is always great. So you're not just bored out your brain waiting for the next training session. Loads of stuff to do. The knowledge when I was there was top drawer, and even without having to do a private, we did do a few privates. Tim did a couple of privates, which I'd recommend too, because again, they're very reasonably priced for what you're getting, and the trainers there absolutely graft. Like sometimes they're teaching 2 hours in the morning, then they do 2-3 PTs straight after that. Then they're back in the gym in the afternoon, and then they'll do PTs after that as well. They just love the sport. They live and breathe it, man. And every session, I felt something good came from it. Again, the sparring can be a bit weird. You know, there might be new guys coming in that you don't know, and you know, it can be a bit of a minefield, like any gym. I was one of the better lads there outside of the fighters, but again, I've competed, like, I had loads of professional fights, so I don't really count as far as general public goes. But I felt like everyone was really accommodating there, and it was reasonably priced. The last thing I'll finish the video on, if you go in Thailand, something that you've got to be really aware of, really careful with, is just skin infections, especially if you're doing MMA. You're going to be doing rolling, jiu-jitsu, even clinching. Be mindful. As soon as you finish your session, try and grab a shower. Make sure that you're airing your equipment out. Just leave it outside to catch some air, so dry off properly. Do not reuse t-shirts and stuff like that if you've been training it. Make sure you air your hand wraps out. Don't be leaving things soggy in your bag and then be reusing it. Because if you're getting bitten by mosquitoes, you're gonna have loads of points of entry for infection, and Thailand, that type of climate is a breeding ground for it. And yeah, it can get pretty nasty, man. You just don't want staph or ringworm or anything sinister like that. Flesh-eating disease, don't get flesh-eating disease. Hope that was informative for you. If you've got any questions, shoot me down below. If you want any advice or tips about going to Thailand, especially if you're from the UK, hit me down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. Pro Striking out. I'll catch you later. Yeah, that'll set you up for the day, hopefully.
Yeah, well, the knife wants you to come inside it. You might get a few scars like this. Yeah, I could have had me mess too good. And I ain't got paper skin.
Hold on. So Wes has forgot his boxers.
Straight balls to strop.
Wes, are you decent? You think that's gonna hold? So no boxers.
No boxes. Straight
Ball to cup.
Ball to cup.